Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Country Morning Creations with my monthly flip through of my monthly journals. So if you haven't heard it in a while, and I think I probably do explain this every time, I use a monthly journal because I cannot wrap my brain around a big journal. It's daunting to me to have a huge journal to work with. I don't know how I'm going to divide it up. I don't know how it's going to work. So my brain can do monthly journals where I journal every day on a different page. These are my other journals that I've done: April, March, February, and January. When I'm done, I take all of these and bind them together. So today we're just looking at my May journal, and I have used papers from the Darcel collection. This is by Prima, and it's their Darcel. I love these colors. I love, love, love jewel tones. So I have my burgundies and my navy blues, the off-white, even some of the darker browns. This has just been a gorgeous collection to work with, so I really love it. And then on the cover, I've done some rose gilding. I have some lace down the spine. I have a little bit of cheesecloth, and that is behind half of one of these journaling note cards. So I took one of these journaling note cards and cut it in half. And then I have simply placed a sticker right here. Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to make you seasick. I've placed a sticker right here on the front. So I have the clear sticker paper and printed out the days or the months on that. And as we get into this, one of the things I was doing was using up some imperfect coffee dyed paper, which I'll talk about in a second. But I wanted to go over, this just happened to work out. I love this. So it says, today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow you want. And then down here it says, just wing it. Life, eyeliner, everything. And that's kind of one of my philosophies in life. I do wing quite a bit. Anyway, this is coffee dyed paper. It is 28-pound hammer mill that I have used acid neutral coffee. If you are interested in finding out how I do that, I will link the video on how I do this below. What I loved and wanted to do was use a variety of different papers, and this was one of the ones that turned out really dark. I just love how that looks, and it's a little bit crisper, and so I love how it writes. I have a little bit of Edith Holden. This is the May one. I have two different sizes of Edith Holden books. I actually have the hardback as well as the paperback. And so this is from the paperback. It's slightly smaller. I accidentally got that first and then asked for the hardback. I actually like having both sizes for different books. I do a lot of flips, and what I'll do is go back and fill these with stickers along the line. Isn't that gorgeous? Just look at that. This is so dark and beautiful, and yet my ink will still show up on it. I have some onion skin paper. That's not onion skin paper. This is, now I can't think of what it's called. So if I think of it, I'll post the link to Amazon below if you're interested in that as well. And then this is really cool. This is actually a piece of music from a late 1800 children's hymnal. So that was a really cool find. And so I just have lots of paper in here. I used the 5-hole, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I also love to tie a bow in the middle. And so that is pretty much all I have in my journal. I start out with it fairly blank and then move into filling it up, and I put stickers in it or decorate it as I go. So they start out rather blank, and then I add more to them. And then I like this at the end. It says, we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. That was great. I hope you've enjoyed this flip through, and if you are willing to stay for just a few minutes afterwards, I will show you, I'm going to just go right into the video that talks about how I did this using a stencil, embossing with a stencil. If you're leaving me, I hope I've encouraged you to be creative today, and if you're staying for the rest of the video, I hope you enjoy what I share. Now that you have seen my whole journal, I wanted to show you what I did to do that embossing with a stencil. So today I'm going to use my Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous. This is the roses one. I have my ink pad, embossing ink. I have my embossing powder, and I have my heat tool that I'm going to need. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually place this kind of backwards, if you will, and try to figure out where I want it to be. And I want it actually to end up being on the left side of what I'm doing. Now I'm just going to take my embossing ink and turn it upside down and press it through the stencil. All right, that probably is good enough. Now we're going to take our embossing powder and sprinkle that real liberally over this whole area. That's probably too much, but I always feel like I want plenty there. And we're going to just shake it off. So I'm going to just brush this real lightly because I'm not exactly sure what it's sticking to. And I want to go back and emboss that little bit again. So I'm going to take this real quickly, dump it all back in. And then we're going to just put down the stencil again just in that one area. I want to finish the roses and the leaves that are on this side. So grabbing the pad again and double checking, I want to push down into some of this area and make sure that I'm really getting this. Oop, it's sticking to the pad. I'm not surprised. And I think my pad is a little bit dry as well, so that's not helping. Let's try this again. Oh, I know why it's sticking where it's sticking. I put down some distress ink, and so it's sticking to the distress ink. So let's see what we get. All right, much better, much better. And then I'm just going to brush some of that off because I know what's going on. It's sticking to some distress ink. So next time you definitely want to do the distress ink afterwards. And what I'm trying to do is grab a little brush, and I'm just going to use it and just brush real lightly some of this off instead of using my fingers. So for this, we're just going to do that much. And I think that will be good enough for what I want. So then last but not least, I'm going to deal with that later, and we're going to turn on the heat tool. And you just move it real slowly over where the embossing ink is, and it will suddenly get shiny. Can you see how that's getting shiny up there? And if you hold it for too long in any one place, it will burn. So as soon as you've got everything done, you want to stop. So that is how I embossed the front with a stencil and using a stencil. Isn't that gorgeous? I love how that turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this little bonus tutorial, and I hope I've encouraged you to be creative today.